So for nollie laser flips, one thing you gotta keep in mind is it's a lot like 360 flips, where there's a lot of ways to do them. Some things might work for some people, but might not work for others. So I'm gonna try to, throw out as many tips as I can, and try to pick out which ones work for you, and I'll try to do my best. So tricks you should know for the nollie laser is either the nollie heel or nollie varial heel. Now the reason why I say that is because for me personally, I think it's easier to flick nollie varial heels than nollie heels for some odd reason. And so maybe there's a lot of people like me out there. And you should learn the nollie 360 backside shove. Now remember, backside and frontside switch around in nollie. I don't know, because of some dyslexic guy. I really don't know why. And a trick you don't have to learn, but helps a lot, would be the nollie big heel. Because it's just a nollie laser with a body varial. And that big spin that you use in the trick helps a lot with the rotation. So you kind of get a feel of the board spinning 360 with the heel. So pretty much just learn a nollie heel variation and a nollie 360 backside shove, and you should be good. So for the setup, what you do is you put your front foot at an angle like this. I like to have it, around here. But this is the tricky part. Your back foot, there's so many places to put it. You can put it here, 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 or you can have it like this, like this, like this, like this. There's so many places to put it that works for many people, so you really gotta experiment with that. But I personally like to have my back foot like this, if you can. The reason why some people would have their foot up like this would be because it'll be easier to control and it'll be easier to land. But the only downside is that it's going to be hard to flick the board because they're so close to the tail. And the reason why some people would have their foot up close will be because it'll give you a faster rotation, faster flick. But the only problem is that you don't have much control and it'll be really difficult to land. So just keep that in mind. That's why I prefer to have it in the middle, have the best of both, and just have it like that. So you just gotta experiment what you like. You like it here, like this, maybe you like it this, 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 this. You just gotta find out what will work best for you. So before you start this trick, make sure your weight is somewhere between your feet. Like my weight right now would be like right here. The majority of my weight is right here. And also before you start the trick, make sure you start with like 2 good pushes, because this trick works so well when you're moving at a nice pace rather than really slowly. So that's why I recommend not doing them in a garage or a small basement, because speed really helps with the flick and the rotation and everything. It's really important that you're going at a good pace. So when I start the trick, which would be this, what's going to happen is your front foot is going to push it over like this. It'll be at like a curve, that. And you don't really need much of a scoop. It's more of like a pop and a push. So with your back foot, this is really important. Make sure you slide up the board. You don't want to just throw your foot out. You really want to slide, flick like this. Have it smooth. You don't want to just go out and throw your foot out, because it won't give you that flick. And also remember that your back foot is going to be making contact with this part of the board at around 90 degrees, so you're going to be flicking like right here. Also, when you start the trick like this, you do not need to jump backwards to get the board. All you need to do is just jump up, and you should land like that. So yeah, after you do that, it'll just spin around, it'll do its laser, and then you just land it. There's really no tip for just jumping and just landing. So that's the nollie laser. So there's 2 huge problems with this trick. Well, they're pretty much the only 2, but they're pretty big. So the one problem is not getting enough rotation or not enough flick, which would be like, you get like 270 or something like that, and you land like this, or maybe you get the whole rotation, but you just land like that, or the board will just go like this, and then it just throws out and goes wherever it wants. So ways to fix it will be, try different stances. Don't try just this that I do. Try this, try this, try that, try that. All of these stances you should try out and see which one gets you closer. And also what we could do is move your back foot up the board, like up here. But don't do this in public, because you look like a penguin, and it's generally frowned upon if you do a trick like this. But this will just help you get experience for getting that rotation that you want. So yeah, this is not going to give you a good land. This is just going to give you experience on getting the flick and the rotation. So once you do get the flick and rotation, even though it'll probably be like maybe over here and you'll be over here, what you're going to do is you're going to start moving your back foot up the board and try to get rotation right here. And then once you do that, just try to get rotation here and then here. So and in this position, it'll be easier to land the trick. So remember, the farther up you go, the easier it is to land, but harder to flick. But the closer you are up the board, the easier to flick, but the harder to land. And sometimes it'll be just impossible. So if you're too close to the nose of the board, what could happen will be you pop, and then it just flicks vertically and just does something like this, and it's really weird. So if that ever happens, just move your back foot down a bit, like this. And also, a really big tip to learn from my mistake, make sure you go at a nice speed, because speed really helps you get the rotation and the flick you want. So don't be discouraged if your board just goes like, flies away from you. You just gotta keep everything controlled. Don't just throw your feet out. Try to have control over what you're doing, and try to have that board stay under you. So once you have it under you, you know what to work on. Because if this happens, you don't know what to work on. If you keep everything under you, like if it goes like this, like, oh, I need to get more flick and more rotation. You really don't learn anything if your board goes like that. So keep it as controlled as you possibly can. So another big problem will be landing tailstop, or landing really far away from the board like this. And this problem sucks a lot because for me, I've been doing this trick for like a year and a half, and I've always been getting these, or this. And up until last week, when I filmed those 5 Nollie lasers, I finally got over my problem of landing tailstop every single time. And so I know what you all are pretty much going through when you land like this, because it sucks. So one thing you gotta keep in mind is be comfortable. Don't be too tense or anything, and make sure your weight is right here by the board, or right here over the foot. So remember, do not try to jump back like this. And also, jumping forward like this, it's not going to save you from landing into tailstop or landing like this. What does help is just jumping up like this. Just jump up. It's like a hippie jump, where the board is going, let's say 5 miles an hour. That means your body's going 5 miles an hour. If you jump up, and as long as the board doesn't interfere with anything, the board should stay under you the whole time. So as long as you control your laser, and that's what you got to work on, to control the pop or scoop, whatever you want, and to control the heel, that you're not just like throwing everything all at once. And you need that all controlled so that the speed of the board stays 5 miles an hour. Control keeps you the speed. So if you're not in control, what's going to happen is your body and your board are going to go different speeds when you jump up, which is going to cause you to land like this. So keep that in mind. Have control. Which leads me into my final tip for this problem. Do not go slow. Make sure you do 2 good pushes. Learn from my mistake that I've been doing for a year and a half. Because the speed really helps with the flick, it really helps with the rotation, and it really helps you land the trick better. And yes, you are going to fall down a lot. That's a process of skateboarding. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the Nollie laser flip. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any problems or any questions, just give me a comment or message me. I'll get back to you on it. And yeah, that's it. Go outside, go try them. That's a cool trick to learn.